So Asrock has arrived in my studio, and I kind of wanted to do an overview. I don't have any Asrock boards, so I figured I'd give them a shot. And I do have a few of them, hint, hint, so I have some more coming soon. But I kind of wanted to do just an overview of this. Now, this is not a new board, but it is a unique board in itself. And like I said, it's going to be an overview, not a review and testing of it or anything like that. We're just going to check it out, talk about some of their features, or some of its features, that is, and kind of get a good look at it. And maybe you haven't seen it before. There are a few other channels that have done reviews and overviews of this, so I'm not nearly the first because it is a little older, but it is still a Z790 chipset, so it is still very fresh. So let's open this up and I'll show you what I got. All right, you want to see what it is? All right, well, here we go. This is the box that it comes in. Well, I kind of lied. It actually came in another sleeved box, which would have gave it away. So now that I got you to this point, now we're going to reveal it. And Asrock does things a little differently, and I've seen them on some other channels. They don't package them quite the same as I've seen from all the other manufacturers, which I do tend to like a little bit better. Seems like they're a little more secure, and I don't know. That's just my opinion. So I took it out once just to look at it, make sure nothing was broke. I just want to show you what it comes with. Not much, but we get some Velcro straps, we get some SATA cables, 2 of them, and we get some M.2 screws. Looks like 4 of them, and a little Asrock emblem there. Now, it does come with a user's manual on this side, no biggie. I'm gonna set this aside, right there. Oh, put these away. And here is the motherboard. So it is the live streamer, and the last generation, this was like orange and white. Now we get this purple and blue, or purple, dark purple and white. And they put zip, see, this is the only thing I don't like about this, is they put zip ties around this. I don't know. Now I got to go get a cutter. All right, now that I got all those off, we can go ahead and take this board out. And I did not get a chance to look at the back of the board, but there's the front of it. Pretty spiffy. There's the back. There's no back plate on it as far as covering the whole back of the motherboard. It's not the highest end motherboard. It's actually at a pretty good price point for what you get on this. And I'll probably get you a little bit better shot, and we'll talk about what's going on here. All right, again, we're just gonna do an overview. No real technical stuff too much, but you can look at all the specs online. So anyway, up here we get 2 EPS CPU power connectors. Those, if you would only hook up both of those if you were going to do any kind of overclocking or anything like that. The other thing we get is, here's your CPU fan header. You get a chassis fan. We do get 4 DIMM slots. We get our motherboard power, 24 pin. We get 2 USB 3.2 Gen 1 connectors. They're good for about 5 gigabits per second. We do get 4 SATA connections right here. If I just spin this around right here, you get 4 of those. And then coming down a little further here, I will probably have to look in here, but we have various type of connections here, but most of the more important ones, we get 2 USB 2.0. Of course, we get our audio way over here, and I will have to look at this quickly because I can't memorize everything. All right, so right down here, we do get our front panel connections. These ones I'm not too sure about because I've never used them before, but we do get 2 more chassis fan connections. We get some ARGB, some RGB connections, and again, our audio right here. Now, as we move up the board, we do get 2 M.2 NVMe connections right here. I don't know if one of these would be able to accept a SATA M.2. I'd have to look that up, but they are 4.0. So that's Gen 4.0, that is. So you get 2 of them side by side there. We do get an M.2 Wi-Fi adapter right here. So if you wanted to add Wi-Fi to the board, then you'd have to put it in these holes up here. You'd just have to run the wires and put it in yourself. I don't know why they do that, but that's what it is. We do get 2 by 16 slots for GPU. Of course, your top one is the best one to put it in. That's a by 16, and that's a by 1 right there. We get another Hyper M.2, but this comes with no heatsink, just an FYI. So if you were to buy a top-of-the-line fast drive, currently at Gen 4.0, you probably want to get one with a heatsink. Otherwise, I would go with like a 3.0, a lower grade one, maybe just for storage for that section. And we do get another one up here. Now, this one, what do they call this again? Blazing M.2. That's what ASRock calls it, Blazing M.2. And basically what that means is one side, which I believe it's on this side, is Gen 5.0. The other side is 4.0. So depending on what you want. Now, if you put a Gen 5 drive in here, which they currently, I think, only have a couple of manufacturers, but they're outrageously priced. If you were to put that in here, this would go down and would cut your bandwidth practically in half. So just to note that. Otherwise, put your Gen 4 drive in here. You could put another Gen 4 drive here and 2 more here, giving you a total of 4 drives that will work. Now, I forget what this port is called here, but this port right here allows you to put like an external monitor on. I think that's really cool, or a built-in monitor, right? You can just set it next to or inside the case, and you can have a monitor hooked up to that if you wanted to. And by the way, this supports your 12th, 13th, and 14th gen, because this is an Intel Socket 1700, just so you know. All right, let's use my pointing apparatus here. Here at the top, we can see we have our 2 holes for the Wi-Fi connections, and that's if you put your Wi-Fi card in. Otherwise, you would just use the built-in 2.5 gigabit LAN down there. But you can either leave those blank and use that, or if you needed to, just add them in right there. We get an HDMI display port, and well, that's HDMI, that's display port, that's for your output video signal, and this is 2 USB 2.0 connections, and we get 2 USB 10 gigabit per second connections, 1 type C, 1 type A. We get 4 more type A, or type A connections, yes, but 2.0. Then we get these unique ones. Now, these are ultra USB power and light gaming. So basically, these give like a more direct path to the CPU for better power management and stuff like that. If you're running like an external amp or something like that and you needed more power, you'd have to look that up and see the exact specifications, what you can use that for, but it has to do with that. And down here, you get 2 more of the 10 gigabit per second, 1 type A, 1 type C. Of course, your 2.5 gigabit LAN, and you get your audio connections down there at the bottom. That wraps up all that stuff. I do have to make a correction. This is not a chassis fan. This is actually CPU 2, or what we sometimes call like CPU optional header right here. This is your main fan header, and this one up there is also for a water pump. So I had to read that, it's a little small, but that one's also for a water pump. All right, so as I wrap this up, I just want to give you my thoughts and opinions, the good and the bad. And I'll kind of mix it up as we go, but I think it gives you plenty of I/O. So in other words, all of your USB connections and all the connections back here, including you have other headers on here that you can add more USB ports. That's, you got 4 more 3.0 ports or 3.2 Gen 1 ports. You get 2 more 2.0 ports, actually That's 4 more. Excuse me, that's 4 more ports right there. One thing I think they could have done is added the Wi-Fi, built-in Wi-Fi. That would have saved somebody from putting a card in and routing the wires and mounting it here, then putting your antennas on. I mean, you have to put your antennas on anyway, but I just figured it would be a lot easier if they did that. It would have added a few more dollars to the price. You know, they would have to make a profit. So it probably would have been like about a $40 more motherboard. So I get that. You do have the option of overclocking with the extra power supply to the CPU up here. You do, I believe, get plenty of fan headers and chassis fan headers. I think that's a really good option. I do like how they included, I did miss that they added they have a USB Type-C connection on there, and I did forget to mention that. So that gives you plenty. I think I missed even these headers up here, but you get a couple chassis fan headers plus another water pump, so you can have like 2 water pumps running off of this at the same time, just through the motherboard. It's not a big hype, but since there's not really any Gen 5 storage that anybody's going to afford right now, I wish they would have done away with that and added more fast USB ports. Get rid of these 4 USB ports that are 2.0 on the back and add like 4 USB 3.2 Gen 1s. So the blue ports, if they added more of those, it would have been a little bit better for this, I think. But nevertheless, this is a good price and a really good motherboard for this price range. So anyway, that's my thoughts. Well, leave your comments down below of what you think about this thing, between the color, the inputs, the outputs. This is a ATX form factor motherboard, by the way, just in case you were wondering. And, you know, the storage options, leave your comments down below on that. And feel free to subscribe. You can subscribe and hit that bell icon next to this subscription button to get notified for any future videos that I do post. And yeah, give this thing a thumbs up, would you please? And just to help out the channel and myself to keep going. Other than that, until next time, guys, take care.